What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this one, guys, we're going to talk about some of the most important dilemmas for Game Week 18. So if you liked the video today, make sure that you hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. And with that, let's start today's video. Now let's start with the first one, guys. Can we save a free transfer this week? Now I think avoiding making forced transfers, especially early on, it can be very crucial at the FPL restart, guys. If you believe that your team is in good shape and there aren't any major issues to solve, I think saving a free transfer this week is the right way to go. We've only had 1 week of fixtures played, so we can only draw so many conclusions from that, guys. There's not enough data to make informed decisions at the moment. And I think it's always better to be slightly patient and then get as much information as possible before making any moves. Also, there aren't any game-changing transfer trends that are emerging right now, guys, unless you haven't got players like Haaland, Trippier, or maybe even one of Salah or KDB, guys. I personally don't think so there are any transfers to make this week, unless again you've picked another defender who's maybe at the risk of not starting in game week 18, and you maybe don't even have enough bench cover for Reece James, guys, because Reece James is injured, and if you don't have cover for him, then maybe you'll have to take him out. Otherwise, you can save your free transfer. Now, what does saving a free transfer here means, guys? It will basically give you 2 free transfers for game week 18 and 1 additional game week worth of information, which I think could be very important. Also, guys, if you have players like Darwin Núñez, Martial, or even Wilson, for example, I think they're worth holding. They're absolutely fine. In case if you're afraid of not having, let's say, someone like a Mitrovic, especially against that Southampton defense, guys, and you are planning to get him anyways for the double game week in game week 19, in that case, you can make a move, but it's not a necessary move in game week 18, guys. So there's no wrong or right answer here. I think there's no one way of playing FPL. It totally depends on how comfortable you are with your team and how much risk you're okay taking. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Who are the best replacements for Chelsea's Reece James? It's been so unlucky with Reece James, guys. He's already having a tough season. He got injured in game week 10. He missed out on the World Cup. Now he was coming back. He was on his return. But again, in game week 17 against Bournemouth, he got injured. And now he's likely to be out for a month. So the question now comes, who are the best replacements in defense? So let's say if you don't have players like Cancelo and Trippier, guys, I think they should be priority. Trippier is definitely the best value defender in the game. I think he's great from an FPL point of view and he should be prioritized. Now, if you have Trippier, then you should check around a Man City defender. I still feel Cancelo is the best Man City defender to go for. Yes, I know Cancelo doesn't have the same returns as Trippier, guys, but he still ranks among the top 5 defenders for points this season. Now, let's say if you already have Cancelo and Trippier in your team, guys, the third direction of the option that you can look at is basically teams like Manchester United and Arsenal. I think both are good defenses, they are premium teams. They also have some slightly cheaper options in defense that could be great value and they can act as great Reece James replacements. I'm starting with Ben White, guys, who's a defender cheaper than 5 million here. Now he's slightly cheaper than Saliba and Gabriel as well. I think it's worth saving that 0.5, 0.6 million. The fixtures are a little bit tricky. So the next 4 include Brighton away, Newcastle at home, Tottenham away and Manchester United. So they're not really the easiest set of fixtures, but I feel Arsenal are still a good defense. They're most likely to keep a couple of clean sheets in spite of the tricky fixtures, guys. Now, in case if you're not convinced by the fixtures, in case if you're looking at an alternative, you can go for Luke Shaw, guys. The following 2 fixtures for United are Wolves away and Bournemouth at home, guys, before a tricky set of games against Arsenal and Man City. So post that the fixtures get better. So I think it's easily a long-term move, guys. If you are looking at a defender for a long term and you don't want to make changes, I think Luke Shaw is a great option. Now, in case if you're still not convinced, you can also look at an option like, for example, Botman from Newcastle, guys. He's an excellent double-up option with Trippier, as you're getting a cheap defender from the best defense in the league. So that's the advantage, but he should not be prioritized over Trippier, guys. He's always an addition to Trippier as a double-up. But yes, at 4.4 million, he's a great option from a great defense. Personally, I don't like the Chelsea options as much, guys. I think there will be some rotation that is expected in the coming games. Also, I think one of the reasons a lot of managers went for Reece James was mainly for his attacking threat, guys, which I personally don't think players like Cucurella and Azpilicueta, they do possess on the pitch. I think I'll look elsewhere for more nailed and attacking options. I won't necessarily look at Chelsea options in terms of replacing a Reece James here. Now let's move on to the next one, guys. What should we do with Phil Foden? Should we sell Phil Foden in game week 18? Now, a lot of managers who went with Foden instead of Kevin De Bruyne, they were left frustrated, guys, because the Man City attacker, he was benched again by Pep. Now, there was at least some respite because KDB, despite of starting the game, he just scored 2 points and he did blank against Leeds. Now, guys, I'm expecting Foden to start at least one of the following 2 games, guys. considering it's a short turnaround time between games, I still feel he will get some game time, but it is always a risk with the Pep Roulette, guys. It's always very tricky to predict, and you're definitely taking a risk. In the other scenario, guys, if you want to play safe, you can go for Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. I think who looks like the attacker to go from the Arsenal team. Now, the other option is to go cheaper with options like, let's say, Rashford, maybe one of Martinelli or Odegaard, or even Almiron if you're looking for some serious value in midfield. My only issue with this move is that you expose your midfield with no players from Man City, guys. They're possibly the best attack in the league right now. Plus, they have a double game week in game week 20 and 23. Now, when you're looking at Man City midfielders, I still prefer KDB, but if it is not easy to get KDB, guys, I suggest you hold Foden to at least cover up the Man City attack in whatever way possible and see him out for a couple of weeks. It's a personal choice at the end of the day, guys, but if I had Foden in my team, I would hold him for a couple of game weeks before making any required switch. Now, let's move on to the last dilemma for this game week, guys. Which are the forwards to go for game week 18 and beyond? Now, this is an assumption that everybody already has Haaland as one of their strikers in their teams, guys, and the real competition is for the other two spots. Now, it's an excellent strategy to play with 3 strikers up top this season, I guess. I think there is a lot of value there. It still reduces your ability to play 5 across midfield, or maybe even 4 across the defense, 4 at the back. So you have to see that this third striker, this third option, it basically outscores your 5th midfielder and your 4th defender, guys. So you have to pick and choose carefully. Now, there are a couple of strategies in play here. If you want to go safe, then you can go for a combination of Kane or maybe even Nunes and Mitrovic. I think that's the one for you. Guys, I understand that you're investing some additional funds with Kane, but I think he's been in great form and he is the second highest point scorer among all forwards. So I understand the appeal. I also understand why people aren't going for him. And in case if your team balance, it takes a hit, you can avoid Kane, you can go with Darwin Núñez instead. Now, many managers who went for the same move, they are already considering selling Darwin Núñez, guys. I feel it's very rushed. His performance against Villa was actually quite good, and he just missed an FPL return from it. I think that was the only thing that was missing. Now, we know that he will get big chances for absolute fun, guys. Sooner rather than later, I think he'll convert those big chances, and he should give us massive points hauls. So my advice here would be patient and experiment with the third striker spot instead, guys. Now, Mitrovic is definitely one to consider here. I think a lot of managers sold him on the FPL restart, and he definitely punished his sellers, guys. He came away with a double-digit haul in game week 17. Now, I understand it was against a 9-man Palace side, but is it worth getting him in for game week 18? So the argument here is that if you have Wilson, guys, I think the decision is slightly easier. Now, Wilson is struggling to remain fit, and I'm confident that he's not going to start consecutive games in such a short span of time, guys. So you can easily switch Wilson to Mitrovic, despite the risk that Mitrovic can get suspended for a match and he may miss out on one of the games in the double game week 19, because Mitrovic is on 4 yellow cards for the season, guys. There's a possibility that he gets a 5th before game week 20 and he misses out on 1 game. Now, the alternate scenario here is that, guys, if you have Martial as your third striker, I think the decision in that case becomes a bit tricky. Now, he has good fixtures in game week 18 and 19, and I definitely think he can score a good chunk of FPL points. Now, guys, one thing to note is that Martial will likely play fewer minutes than Mitrovic, I think because of his fitness levels. So it's ultimately about how much risk you're willing to take for your team. Mitrovic definitely feels like the higher ceiling move here, but it comes at a risk of missing out on a game, guys. For my own team, I have Martial as a third striker option, and I think I'm willing to give it at least 1 more week to get more information. I think waiting out will help me get additional info, and I think that could be very crucial in understanding if Mitrovic is a legit pick for game week 19, guys. I can still get Mitrovic for game week 19, guys, but for my own team, I don't think so. I'm making the Martial to Mitrovic switch in game week 18. So these were some of the most important dilemmas for game week 18, guys. Do let me know if I've missed out on anything. Do let me know if you have any other dilemmas in mind. Do let me know in the comments below. So that'll be all from my side for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and liked the video today. I hope you found it useful. If you did, guys, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.